Welcome everybody to another issue of European Rotors, the digital series. I could start with saying the future is now, because in less than 20 days we're going to meet in Madrid to the next edition of European Rotors, the VTOL Show and Safety Conference. But the future is also now, because I'm talking to someone who represents the future, especially the future of training. Hi, Fabi, may you shortly introduce yourself?
Hey, hi, thanks a lot for having me in your show, Frank. My name is Fabi Riesen. I'm one of the founders of Loft Dynamics and the CEO right now. We started with the formerly named VRM, VR Motion, VRM Switzerland. And as everyone heard, end of last year, we changed the name to Loft Dynamics, which is related to two things. One, it's related to the recent expansion funding we did, as well also going global with a little bit more neutral name, not typically bound just to the product. Thank
you so much. Thank you so much for that short introduction. So we actually met last year over a digital series interview. Fabi, could you tell us what happened since then? You already mentioned that you changed your name, but I think there is more to tell, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we rapidly grow. In the meanwhile, we are close to 60 employees. Expanding from additional aircraft types. I mean, you've heard it, H145 is currently in development. We came out with the H125 virtual digital cockpit, the glass cockpit, DXI version. As well, we are tapping now also into the fixed wing market, given that we have now all the foundations needed to use virtual reality technology in qualified FSTDs.
That's great. Compliments for that. Really, to see your company growing so fast is great for us also. You have a very special relationship with EASA, which is the co-owner of European Rotors. How does this impact your business and the future of pilot training?
Yeah, well, I would say special relationship. It is a journey we are going on since 2018. That's where EASA came out with the rotorcraft safety roadmap, where basically EASA was looking for new innovative solutions addressing the huge amount of helicopter accidents happening during jacking and training as well. I mean, if you can eliminate that, it would be great. And we were just there with a almost working product. But as it is with new technologies in aviation, you cannot simply use a new technology and that's it. It needs to be qualified. And going that journey is something we've accepted the challenge. And that, of course, is a very special relationship with EASA. We had the pleasure to go through that journey. It was quite a long journey. It's not straightforward, but going through all the process with special conditions and so on. And yeah, I mean, it's known. We were the first one on the whole earth ever qualifying a FSTD using virtual reality technology, I mean, head-mount display. And still by today, we are the only one. But that's something which is may all cool to hear about new technology. But what is it about? It is adding three-dimensional view into the FSTD world. That means out of a sudden, pilots are not bound to a dome projection, which is a very static view. If you move the head, you don't see the element outside moving against each other. So there is no possibility to do that. With virtual reality, such thing is possible, but then it has a lot of challenges to get this qualified.
Absolutely. And I had the pleasure to sit in your simulator once. I'm not a pilot, so that was really a great help to make you comfortable with flying. I see you sitting in front of a skyscraper that could be the US, but I'm not sure, I have to admit. Sorry for that. But as you told us, you're growing. Are you also growing into the US with some financial background?
Definitively, yeah. We just opened a site in US. We have now a subsidiary there. We are tapping into the let's call it FAA market, which is not the only one, by the way, but I mean, as you could read, FAA is having in New Jersey 2 of our simulators in the research center. And that's what we are currently working on, because it's not only Europe having the challenge on more realistic and affordable simulators. It's almost everywhere, and FA is of course the next big partner to work with and move that forward.
Compliments and all the best for this one. We're talking already globally. There is a global shortage on pilots, on talents everywhere. I mean, of course, yes, fixed wing, but also rotorcraft. We as European Rotors, we organize a career day to attract the next generation of pilots, mechanics, engineers to come to the show to get inspired how great this vertical takeoff and landing branch is. How is Loft Dynamics actually addressing this challenge to cope with the global shortage of pilots?
Yeah, I mean, in order to build pilots, it needs training. In order to train, you need to have training devices. And as I mentioned, we tap into the fixed wing. We already in the helicopter one, and the combination of both is the VTOLs, I mean, the vertical takeoff and landing thing, which is also something coming up, which even makes the shortage much bigger. And taking this all into account, if it would need to be addressed with traditional training devices, it's simply not possible. I mean, you cannot fulfill the demand with the traditional full flight simulators, which is there, which gets generated with all the eVTOLs coming up, with the existing pilot shortage in fixed wings, in helicopters, in the rotary aircraft area. So from that point of view, the way we are contributing and we are in the game is by providing qualified, realistic, affordable solutions, which is actually also changing the market a bit. Traditionally, there were those simulator centers, which mainly were used for the check rides and for the type ratings. In the meanwhile, we have smaller solutions. We were even able to qualify the same thing on a mobile solution in trailers. That means out of a sudden the training is first of all affordable, and the accessibility and availability gets increased a huge amount compared to what we had before.
We dedicate a special session to the future of simulation during the conference program on European Rotors. It's going to be on day one, actually on Tuesday, 28th on, I think it's stage 1, from 12 to 1400. So 2 hours of this fruitful discussion, which kind of simulators are on the market and which kind of philosophy each of the companies is following up. And you're going to be part of that. So to our audience, don't miss it. So of course, I have always to ask you, why should visitors come and visit Loft Dynamics and their booth during the next edition of European Rotors?
Yeah, thanks for this question. I mean, definitely, it's going to be 2 things which will be super new. So first of all, we come out with the glass cockpit, the TXI version of the H125, the Squirrel, the Ecureuil, the H125 helicopter with all the touchscreen thing, which is brand new, where we have the avionics completely separate, hosted, by maintaining the haptic thing, which is really awesome, giving you the advantage of having the simplification to manage the maintaining of the NAV database. No need anymore to go there with SD cards and so on. And having all the advantage of the 3-dimensional view, plus having the original software running on the device. And the second part there is we step into a special operation. So first time we released the HESLO, the helicopter external sling load operation, which is something which is wasn't there before and not possible to fly in a realistic manner, because first of all you need to have the three-dimensional view, but also in a vertical reference flight. Like in traditional simulators, if they were adding a mirror or whatever, they were just adding a screen. But if you move the head, the screen is not moving, but the real mirror, you see that the picture is moving. That's what the pilot needs to prevent negative training on a simulator. On the vertical part, it was not possible at all, having all the different windows and so on. But that's not only the only part. One big challenge is that the traditional simulators, based on the specification of an FFS level D, are not moving fast enough. Transport delays are far too off what actually is needed, that an experienced HESLO pilot can fly the simulator without any additional training needed. I mean, without any adaptation needed, which is the key actually to have a realistic training device. Being able to manage is, I mean, there were hundreds of hours and testing and so on. It's now possible that you can train external sling load on the simulator, which also addresses a huge amount of new training opportunities to fly such missions. But it's also addressing an amazing, crazy safety issue. Yeah. Think about on cranking loads whilst having an engine failure, making the right decisions, and really try it out. Something you really can't do on the real helicopter.
Yeah. That's a fantastic concept, and as we have a rotor safety zone this year for the first time with the rig, where we can talk a little bit about safety issues and accidents happening with sling load operations, human cargo, but also the normal sling load operations, that fits perfectly into our strategy to improve safetiness with training. So everybody which is in this sector, who is in this sector, is heartily invited to step by and test it out. So please book your slot very early at the Loft Dynamics booth, because I think it's going to be super crowded as always. I started my interview with you by saying the future is now, always for you, but what is in your to-do list for 2024?
Oh, that's quite a large to-do list. So when the most important one is expanding the team whilst keeping the passion, spirit. You know, behind great products, there are much greater people. We have a fantastic team working very close together, passion with the product and so on. And given that we now scale up, we also scale up the team. We are continuously hiring. You know, I mentioned at the beginning, right now around 60 people, and there will be many additional people coming up. So that's it's a fantastic phase of the company to do so, but also definitely a challenging one. Then a part of increasing the team, it is also going into the additional region. I mean, I did mention US, so expanding in the FAA area, but also as you could hear already before, I mean, back home helicopters in Canada are now an area where we are expanding, plus a few other areas we follow and announce in near term. Then in regards of aircraft, the fixed wing will be added, something we announce very soon, but which is already going to be a fact next year. And last but not least, rolling out the Airbus H145 helicopter FSTD. So a fantastic helicopter with latest and greatest training technology.
Amazing. If I recall right, I think we met first physically in Mollis on the Swiss Helicopter Day in February 2020, before this little thing broke out and hurdling the business. And I recall the discussions which we had and what is on your plans. And it showed that you really cope with your own rhythm, with your own speed. So best of luck for that. I'm fingers crossed, but I'm sure you're going to make it. But first, we make it to Madrid, so can't wait to see you there in person from the 27th to the 30th of November at the next edition of European Rotors, the VTOL Show and Safety Conference. And thank you for the interview today, Fabi. Best of luck and see you in Madrid. Bye-bye. Ciao. Salut.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate and felt a great day. See you in person. Looking forward.